Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we're going to be discussing the newest pandemic that is affecting all of America's children. The new outbreak to ruin their minds. The new outbreak that is destroying households across our country, man. Today we will be talking about the Skibidi Toilet Syndrome. So, obviously with the jokes aside, we all have probably at this point either seen or heard about Skibidi Toilet, right? I made a video about this a couple months ago, I think. Essentially, it's a new trend of videos and like little shorts on YouTube where people are like going in Blender and they're just like putting people's heads in like toilets and making them go skibbity bop bop yes yes and shit like that, right? It's like very simple, very straightforward. It's like a kids meme kind of thing. It's all over the place. These videos have been just blowing up on YouTube and a lot of people have been really confused, like especially older people. You know me, man, I'm in my mid-20s now. I might as well be getting ready for fucking jazz in the elderly home at this point, right? So for me, right, looking at Skibidi Toilet, I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this, you know? And then it kind of dawned on me one day that this is essentially the same shit that I was watching as a kid with the whole Gmod animations and Team Fortress 2 characters and whatnot, right? Like, it's the same thing, just a different joke, a different meme. It's really not all too different than what we were watching on YouTube when I was a kid. Like I said in a video recently, man, I was watching YouTube poops. I was watching fucking, like, Spider-Man in 144p dancing to Walk It Out, right? Like, we were watching some very odd stuff as children to begin with, but this is a newer craze, a newer, I guess, quote, threat to society, I don't know. But a whole article got written up here on motherhood.com, which is an interesting website called the Skibidi Toilet Syndrome and how to like protect your kids from it, right? So apparently the families are starting to get a hold of this content and they seem to think it's some sort of like fucking menacing threat that like destroys your child's brain or something. I don't know. Which is kind of funny once again because like a lot of the people who are having kids that are watching shit like this now, like I said, they were watching this shit with me back on YouTube in the 2000s where, you know, I was watching SpongeBob call people pinguses and fucking tell them that they were whores. Just all kinds of crazy things, man, right? And my parents, I remember when they found out I was watching YouTube poops, right? When I was like 8 years old. Pretty sure my mom walked in one day and I was watching like a fucking, one of the Zelda YTPs, right? The fucking my boy things, right? And fucking, she like kind of freaked out, like, dude, what the fuck are you watching, right? But, you know, it wasn't that serious at the end of the day once she like realized, oh, it's just some stupid internet joke or whatever. But apparently now Skibidi Toilet is like the worst thing that's ever happened. And one of the like leading things that people are getting worried about is their kids reenacting this content. I don't know. And the videos that they show aren't like, you know, worrisome. Of kids like actually like, I don't know, getting down in the toilet, like playing in the toilet water and like singing, nothing like that. It's just kids like standing around and singing the song or like playing in laundry baskets and singing the song. Like honestly pretty typical kid shit. And so the article goes into depth about how parents can prevent their kids from seeing this shit, you know, what it is, what the problem is or whatever, right? Your kids can still be exposed to them even though YouTube Kids doesn't show the original videos. If your child searches for it, results will show on the app. There's also a concerning number of games being based on the series. The most popular game of the series has over 1 million downloads on Google Play. So, as expected, people, I guess, are making fucking Skibidi Toilet video games. I don't know how that really works, what the basis would be. I'm not downloading them to find out, but it's getting talked about in this article like it's like something off of fucking Narcos or something, man. Like your kids are gonna die if they consume this content, you know. They play the Skibidi Toilet game on their phone. Apparently their brains will just melt into a goop that sits in their fucking cranium. I don't really know what the big concern is and like what the worry is. Like the people reading this and like the people writing this kind of article are just like, it seems like worried that this is gonna spiral out of control and like lead to something horrible. And I don't know, man. Like I get it, right? There's been so many internet trends that have come and gone where even like on TikTok especially, kids will see some new challenge or some like new hype or whatever and they get all on board and it can lead to horrible consequences. But I really don't see that happening with this. I'm gonna just be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fucking Skibidi Toilet super fan sitting here watching these videos. I've seen like 3 of them probably ever. But the concept is pretty straightforward. It's not like these kids are watching fucking Al-Qaeda how to build a bomb training videos, you know? Like, they're not watching Adolf Hitler reaches out to your child via YouTube, you know? Like, they're just watching some goofy, silly, funny content on the internet. And truth be told, this is probably one of the, like, overall safer and better things that have come along for kids, at least that I've seen in like the last few years, right? Because there's been, even like here on YouTube over the last, like, I don't know, 6, 7 years, a couple different instances where, like, people exposed some pretty horrific trends going on for children on this platform. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember all the way back with the whole Spider-Man and Elsa thing, where there were, like, kids content creators dressing up like cartoon characters and sticking needles in each other's butts and fucking killing each other with knives and just all kinds of just wild things that realistically we could all agree probably shouldn't be in children's content. And that was like a massive controversy. I'm pretty sure there was a whole YouTube adpocalypse revolving around that whole issue itself. Then we've seen, you know, all the different TikTok challenges that have come along where, you know, instead of just eating a spoonful of cinnamon or dumping a bucket of ice water on your head, they had kids out here doing God knows what, man, like fucking stacking up milk crates and jumping off of them and who knows, skateboarding on cars down the street. I don't know. They're just horrific things that actually led to kids dying, kids hurting themselves. I don't know. I see things like that, and I'm not sitting here worried about, like, Skibidi Toilet games on the Google Play Store, right? I really don't think that's, like, the biggest concern on the planet. So it's not just creepy, but it can also be dangerous. The post also shows clips of kids sitting in buckets and trash cans with mainly their heads above, emulating Skibidi Toilet. The easiest way to curb this is by setting the parental control. It can be applied on apps like TikTok, YouTube Kids, or YouTube. To go a step further, it can also be set from the start through the Google Play Store or App Store. Alternatively, you can set screen time limits on apps they use. You can use the restricted mode if you haven't already on TikTok and YouTube to filter out the mature content. Things like that, right? And I gotta say, when I'm seeing this might be one of the first, like, panics over a kid syndrome, quote unquote, that I've seen where instead of outright blaming the videos or, like, blaming the games related to it, whatever it may be, it actually addresses what parents themselves can do to minimize their kids seeing this. Now, don't get me wrong. In this video, I'm not saying that as a parent, you should have to let your kids watch this. I definitely get why a lot of parents wouldn't want their kids watching Skibidi Toilet, and I don't disagree that if that is the case, you should be curbing your kids' viewage of it. I mean, ultimately, that's always been my take on things like this. I don't see an inherent issue with like Skibidi Toilet itself or things like that. It more or less comes down to, why don't parents actually do something about it? Like, I can get the Spider-Man and Elsa one, why people would be mad, because YouTube was just hosting fucking tons of videos like this, letting them slip through the cracks and be monetized and all this shit and whatnot, right? But this really isn't the same thing. Like, as a parent, if you walk by and you see your kid watching Skibidi Toilet and you're like, hey, I don't really like you watching that, dude, you can do something about that. And it doesn't have to involve getting rid of Skibidi Toilet content in general for you to do that. So I do like seeing this in this article, the fact that they actually take some self-accountability and they're like, hey, we as parents can actually address this problem on our own if we try to, right? Because let's be real, especially it seems like in modern society, most parents would rather blame anything but themselves, right? You know, though, there's so many parents out there who the whole reason that their kids are watching this Skibidi Toilet shit in the first place is because instead of being parents, instead of spending time with them, forcing them to be off of devices, most parents don't actually want to take care of their kids. And so when their fucking 4-year-old child is screaming and crying and pissing themselves because they're upset about something, instead of tending to the child's needs and, like, you know, trying to see if they're hungry or if they just, you know, need water, maybe they need help going to the bathroom, right? Like, figuring something out. As a parent, they'll just go get a fucking iPad and they'll put that down in front of the kid with pretty much unlimited access to the internet, and then their kid sits there for 14 hours a day scrolling through mindless garbage on TikTok and watching just pure unadulterated shit on YouTube. And then the parents want to sit around and go, oh, well, I wonder why my kids are watching this shit. Why doesn't YouTube do more to make my kids not see this? As if it doesn't completely revolve around the fact that they're just iPad parents and they don't want to take care of their kids and they don't want to be, you know, the solution. But ultimately, right, is this Skibidi Toilet trend really something that, you know, parents should be freaking out about? Personally, I don't really see it, you know? I mean, it's probably not the best thing your kid could be watching. There's lots of much more informative, entertaining things that they could be tuned into. Whatever happened to, like, Nickelodeon Jr. and shit like that, bro? When I was a kid, on Saturdays when we were at grandma's house, bro, we were watching fucking Nickelodeon, we were watching Disney Channel, shit like that, man. And I'm not here to say we didn't watch YouTube, because we definitely did. We went to the family computer and we would watch YouTube on the internet and whatnot, but dude, that was like just a little small part of it. But it seems like kids today, right, like they don't grow up with educational and funny and cool cartoons, right? Like, we grew up watching all kinds of shit. I mean, we were watching like Tom and Jerry and whatnot, cartoons from like the 40s. There's so many better things, in my opinion, that you could be showing your children, and when the day comes that I have children, I probably wouldn't let them sit around and mindlessly watch shit like this either, but ultimately it comes down to the parents, man. Whatever the parents decide is best for their children is what's best for their children. I mean, if you want to be an iPad parent who your kid can't walk without fucking looking at an iPad, and you want them to only know Skibidi Toilet for the rest of their life, that's fine, man. I mean, it's not my preferred method of parenting, but that's the way most people parent their kids now. I don't know if you guys have like gone out to a restaurant and seen this. It pisses me off, but it's also a soothing solution too. Back when I was a kid, like, kids would freak the fuck out and their parents would be like, hey, listen up. If you don't start acting correct here, there's going to be a fucking problem when we get home, right? And then you're like, uh-oh, yeah, I got to snap into line, right? I got to get my act right. Got to get my face together. Now the problem is kids be going out in public with their parents and they be eating and everything. And then now, instead of like, you know, being a fucking parent and doing something, the kid starts crying and they're like, oh, here's your iPad. Here's your iPad. It's like jingling keys in front of a toddler's face, you know, just distracting them from everything else. And then parents want to wonder why shit like Skibidi Toilet's getting 30 million views in the first day that it comes out. It's not 44-year-old men sitting there watching this kind of stuff, right? It's your 6-year-old daughter, bro. It's your child. Maybe she wants you to take her to the park, bro. I don't know. But it's just funny to see shit like this get written where, you know, there's like this big moral panic about something that realistically is not that big of a problem and could be fixed for people who have an issue with it in like 3 seconds if they took the time to care, but they don't. So yet again, here we go. So with that being said, man, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy though, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel. Follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shoptimus down below. Thank you to my Watch Optimus subscribers. Your support helps the channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, getting addicted to Skibidi Toilet Syndrome and signing out.